wasn't on me. I didn't have to communicate back and forth with them. It was just done. Why not just make my conference sheet digital? I'm telling you, it made my life so easy.
The great thing about working in a digital document is you can change the size.
This is the way I am doing it.
You can't make a parent be involved.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maylene Call from Miss Call's Campers. I am so excited to do this video today because it is parent-teacher conferences. I gotta tell you guys, as a first-year teacher, I was nervous, but it went so well, and I think it's because of all the work that I did before conferences to make them as streamlined as they could be. So in this video, I'm going to give you a couple tips that I used personally to kind of, first, to get my parents there, second, to make sure our time is being used to the fullest extent, and third, to get your parents talking about their kids. So you can probably guess from the title, my biggest tip is to make your conferences digital. That is my biggest tip for you guys. It is gonna make your life so much easier. When I saw Fernanda from that One Happy Classroom post a video on Upgenius, I was like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot that that website even existed. And so I watched her video and I was like, that is a really great idea. So I actually had my parents sign up through Upgenius as well. Originally, I had just done it the way my entire team was doing it, which was sending home a slip of paper and telling parents to choose between like a couple of times, and then I was gonna have to get all those papers back, sort them, try to put parents into a time slot, send their time slot back to them, and just hope it worked out. It's just way too much, and I knew that I didn't want to do it that way. I just completely forgot that Upgenius existed. So thank you, Fernanda. If you're not sure how to use Upgenius, I'm gonna walk you through it. So if you stay to the end of the video, I'll just pop that tutorial in there for you. That way it is as easy as possible for you to do if you're not familiar with it. But let me tell you guys, it was so easy to do, and I had a lot of parents sign up. Another thing you can do on Upgenius is sign up parents for them, so they don't have to do it. You can do it for them if you have their email and they specifically tell you, hey, will you sign me up for this time? But I really like it because all I had to do was email out a link to my sign up page, and parents were signing up left and right. It was perfect because they chose a time. It wasn't on me. I didn't have to communicate back and forth with them. It was just done. Now, something that a lot of teachers do for parent-teacher conferences is they will have a sheet that has a section for positives and negatives. So for example, it might say 2 glows in a grow. If you guys have heard of that, 2 areas where your child glows, 1 area where they can grow, and you kind of just write in the notes and you say, oh, Melissa is great in reading, great in math, she can do better in science. Something like that. I decided that since I was already making my signups digital, why not just make my conference sheet digital? And it was the best decision that I made, and I'm telling you, it made my life so easy. All I did was kind of create it in PowerPoint. I will have the sheet I used in my TPT store for free for you because I love you and I want to make your life easy, and I really like it. It helped my conferences run smoothly. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my screen, that way I can walk you through what these digital conference sheets look like and how to create a Upgenius. At the end of this video, I want to go ahead and talk about some questions that you guys asked about parent-teacher conferences. So yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to walk you through really quickly my document that I used for parent-teacher conferences, and it is going to be available on TPT for you. Everything is actually going to be editable, every single thing, so you can make it say exactly what you want, or take out or add things if you don't feel like trying to figure out the configuration of PowerPoint. I do have my page set up. The dimensions are 8.5 by 11 because it's a normal sheet of paper. And when I print these out, I want them to be a normal sheet of paper. If you just print normal PowerPoint slides, it's going to be really wonky. So for every single I put in their name, and I knew which student was first in my conferences because I used Upgenius. So we'll just say me. We'll just say I am first. So Maylene Call. For Maylene Call, let's just say I want the parent to know Maylene is doing great in class, blah, 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 blah. The great thing about working in a digital document is you can change the size. So if you have a lot to say about Maylene, which why wouldn't you? You can just change the font size. So let's say the default font we'll just say it's this one. If you have a lot to say about her, all you have to do is shrink it. You can't do that if you're writing with pencil and paper or pen and paper. That's why I love this, because you can say as much or as little as you want. It looks great. It's quick. This is the section where I put things that their student was doing well or that they're just doing in general. So reading on a level so-and-so, they are doing this. So if I have a lot of things to say about this student, all I need to do, drop the font size down. I'm not going to run out of room writing. Next is kind of where they can make improvements. So these are goals, improvements. All of this up here I do beforehand. So I just sat down one night and went through all of my students and filled out these boxes for them. Again, it went really quick because I was able to type it and I didn't have to sit there and handwrite and worry about messing things up. And then during the conference, this is what I typed in. So my computer the whole time was angled to where the parent and I could see the screen, and I was basically pointing to the screen, referencing it as I talked about their child, and I was pulling examples of work they had in the room and things like that. But this was right here to anchor our whole conference, and I feel like it was so professional too. So during the conference, all I did was make little notes. Parent is doing this, or Miss Call will do this, and you can just do this very discreetly. It's not like you have to look at a paper and take notes. Whenever I'm actually writing with a pen or a pencil, I have to look at the paper to stay going straight. With this, you can just type without looking, if that is a skill you have. So and it's also a lot quicker, right? So at the very end, I did have my parents digitally sign it, aka type in their name, and I feel like none of my parents really were bothered by this. I think it really did give them ownership of it, and I told them I'm gonna print it and send it home with their child the very next day so they would have the record. So one thing I really liked was not only could I fit in a lot of information about a student, this is an actual conference sheet I have from one of my students. I just changed her name to my name. So this is actually what I said and what we talked about. And so I had this for all of my students. So if Maylene was first and John was second, we'll pretend this is John, my husband. So if Maylene was my first conference, I know right after Maylene, I just have to go down. All right, John's next. This is everything about John. After John, okay, who's next? All right, we'll say Tesla. She's our dog. So basically all your conferences can be in order and you can have all this information, and it's so much easier than dealing with papers, I promise. What I plan on doing next time for parent-teacher conferences, you could make a whole other PowerPoint presentation. I am literally just going to copy and paste the same notes on the same student. I'm going to change this to second 9 weeks and I'm going to edit it for those 9 weeks. So I do have this here still as a reference for me, and it's all in one document, guys. This is so easy. All right, next up is Upgenius. It's really easy and quick to create an account. It's completely free. You don't have to pay for it. There is a premium version, but I don't do that. So create a sign up. Make that bigger for you. So this is the name of my group, Miss Call's class, title of Sign Up Parent-Teacher Conferences. In the description, this is what's going to pop up on the page, so I'll just say, can't wait to meet with you and your student or whoever. Then continue. Next, you want to pick a theme. I literally picked this theme for my conferences because it's not really something I cared to spend too much time on. You can upload your own picture if you want to. This is actually the important part, so you need to make sure you press time slots. So this is, well, they give you right here, parent-teacher conference. And this will let you kind of have different times. So from 3 to 3:10, 3:10 to 3:20. If you press just one time, you're only going to get one spot. So you need time slots. Then it takes you to this. This is where you put in all of your conference information. So we're just going to pretend it's on the 25th of October, which is a Thursday, so I'm going to uncheck these boxes because it's only on a Thursday. If your conferences run for more than one day, you can just extend it to that day. For location, I put my room number, but you don't have to. We are going to pretend our conferences start at 3 p.m. and at 5 p.m. And again, if you select multiple days, it'll do one day through to 5 p.m., another day through to 5 p.m. And this is how long your conferences last. So if they are 10 minutes, you can put 10 minutes. If they're 15 minutes, you can put 15 minutes. We'll pretend it's 15 minutes for this example. Press continue. And for the title, I just put conferences. You don't have to go through and fill out anything else. You literally can just type conferences, and I'll show you what it looks like. So if you hit continue, it will pull up all the things that your parents are going to have to put in. So their name, their email. You can change it to optional in a comment. I would put required for this because I want them to put their student's name in the comment, because when they sign up, it's going to show up the parent's name and not the student's name. So I want them to put a comment with their student's name, if that makes sense. These are just some reminders and things like that for you. I would uncheck this box because I don't know. I just feel like this isn't worth the effort. And then this is what it's going to look like. So, this obviously is just an example. You can look over it, make sure everything looks good to you. You can see they're all in 15-minute increments. This is where your parents are going to sign up. This is where your description is going to be. Here you could put, in the comment section, please leave your student's name. When you are ready, you're going to press this green button at the top. It's not at the bottom. It's at the top. So proceed to invite and publish. One thing I do is just email them out through my school email. I don't actually import my parent emails into Upgenius because that's an extra step I don't feel like taking. So I don't even bother with any of this. You can do it if you want to. I just press this. Take my sign up live, but don't send emails. Click. All right, now here is your link. So if you want to send it out through your normal email, you would just copy this link and go into your email, and I would type a message like, I can't wait to meet with you on October 25th, etc., etc. Please sign up for parent-teacher conferences using this link. And your parents will have it, and it is as easy as that. You can definitely keep track of all your signups. So all you would do is press this signups quick button and it'll take you right to it. You can also get those emails if you marked that in your preferences. I loved using this, guys.
Alright guys, those are all the tips I have for you to streamline your parent-teacher conferences. I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know down in the comment section if digital conferences are something that you think you would really love. I know I love it, and I am definitely not ever going to use pencil and paper. This is the way I am doing it. Okay, so now I just want to answer some questions you guys asked me on Instagram about parent-teacher conferences. Any questions you guys had? So the first one comes from Ashley Marie 43. She said, will your conference notes be the first question is from Ashley Marie 43. She said, will your conference notes form be available in your TPT store? Yes, for free. Tina's Tank something, it cut off your name, I'm sorry. Tina's Tank said, any kid problems that you have to figure out or parental home problems you noticed? It cut off your question. I'm sorry. I'll try to answer it the best I can because your question was cut off because Instagram only lets you answer just a little bit. I don't really have any major kid problems, at least not yet. I can see that there definitely are some behaviors that could turn into problems, but right now they're just opportunities for me. And that's kind of a mindset that I like to have. They're not really problems, they're opportunities. So that's something I learned working in the restaurant business, and it's stuck with me. Next question is from Holly Nicole. She said, what was the hardest part about parent-teacher conferences? I think the fact that I only had one day to do them. So my school, we had one night to do them, and I only had 10 minutes with each parent, and I wanted so much more. I hated kind of having parents, you know, cut off a little bit. I wish I could have talked to them more. I was extremely nervous at the beginning. You guys have already seen that vlog. I was nervous, but things just kind of fell into place once conferences started. I felt really at home and kind of in my zone. So I think the hardest part was just not having enough time to talk with them. Molly B253. She said, what questions do you wish parents would ask at a conference? Basically, all I ask of my parents is that they work with me. So, you know, I really would appreciate any questions my parents ask, because if they're asking questions, they're showing me, you know, that they care. And even if they never follow through on what they say they're going to do, the fact that they're asking questions just makes me feel a little bit better. So some questions parents can ask on parent-teacher conference nights. Obviously, the big one is, what can I do at home with my child to help them? What is my child needing the most improvement in? What do we really need to focus on? Have you noticed any growth in my child in this or that? I think just asking specific questions is really, really helpful based on whatever they want to know. There's not really a certain question, I think. It's just the fact that they're asking questions that would really make me happy. The next question is from Ellen Rose. She said, you mentioned you have 6 ESL kids. I do. Is it difficult to communicate with their parents?
Yeah, it is. It just is. I have Class Dojo, and I keep mentioning Class Dojo. I promise I'm going to do a video on it, but it's basically a way to communicate with parents, and it's a classroom management system. So I have Class Dojo, and Class Dojo will actually translate messages to your parents. So I have Arabic parents and I have Spanish parents, and if I send a message out, it'll translate it for the parents. The problem is my entire class is signed up for Class Dojo except my ESL kids. I don't have any of my Arabic parents. Actually, I have one, I have one of my parents on there, and the messages translate, but they know some English too. And then my Spanish kids, I only have one on there. And it's just that I can't communicate with them, and it is actually really, really hard. However, on parent-teacher conference night, we did have translators available for Spanish. So in that kind of situation, I experienced this in my student teaching. Basically, you would be talking to the parent, and then a translator would be right there, and the translator would just translate for the parent. So pretty obvious how that works, right? But if I had an ESL student's parent come, I would have just gotten a translator, and it would have been fine, but none of them signed up. So Lisa Marie _ experience, I think. Do you set a time frame and have a meeting outline? So yes, my time frame is built into my Upgenius. That is their time frame. I actually posted on a larger whiteboard the time slots and the student's name outside my door, so if they had forgotten which time they signed up for, it was right there for them, and they could also see like, hey, there's a parent right after me. So we do have a time frame. It was a 10-minute time frame, and my meeting outline was what I typed up in my document. And H. Fenley said, how do you handle parents that don't seem to be as involved, if you have experienced that? I have experienced that. So obviously not every single parent is as involved or has the time to do X, Y, and Z with their student. I made sure to kind of have my expectations high to begin with, and basically at parent-teacher conference night, every single parent I saw, I gave them at least 2 things that they could help me with. So that's why at the bottom section it said, we can work together too. I want them to see it's a team effort. Just giving me the excuse we don't have time for it isn't helping your child. It's not helping me, and it's not going to get them any kind of growth. I think that it's really important for parents to understand that it's not just the time they spend in the classroom, even though we're spending so much time in the classroom, which is why I don't give homework. It's other things. They play a part in their child's success too, and I think every parent knows that. I just know that on parent-teacher conference night, I did hear a few things like, well, we don't have time for this, and you're going to get those kind of things from parents. What I did anyway was I gave them all of the information. So like I had things from our first grade coach, who is just so awesome, and she gave us kind of reading packet strategies to send home to parents, and I gave every single parent one of those, even if I knew the parent wasn't going to do it. I give it to them anyway. I tell them how much it's going to help their student, and I just hope and pray that they do it, because you can't make a parent be involved in their child's education. You just can't, but you can tell them how important it is. You can tell them, how much their student's going to benefit from them, and you can, ingrain those good habits into their child. You're with them like 8 hours a day. You can ingrain it into your child and have the child bug their parent. That's kind of the method I'm taking for those guys. As far as, I wish there was something more I could do. I do try to communicate with my parents pretty often. Hopefully all of my parents hear from me at least once a week. That's my big main goal that I'm working on. Unexpected, I think it's supposed to say primary, said, how do you get parents to stop asking questions when their time is up? I am glad you asked this, because like I said, all I did was post the times and the student's name outside of my room, but one of my team teachers gave me a little piece of paper, and all it said was, please knock at your scheduled conference time. So I put that on my door, and then when it was another parent's turn, even if I was in the middle of a conference with one parent, you heard the, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, we have to wrap this up, but blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of an easy out for you guys. I would recommend putting something like that on your door, just saying, please knock at your scheduled conference time. It really did save me. So I'm glad that, that teacher gave me that, because I had no idea. Next question is from Tiara123. She said, what was the hardest thing to get ready or do during conferences? I think the hardest thing for me to do, I don't know. I feel like since I planned out so much prior to the conferences, they were very structured to begin with. I knew exactly what I wanted to talk about, so I was pretty prepared. I don't think anything was necessarily hard. As far as setting up, I just put a couple of chairs outside of my door. I put that whiteboard, and then I had a little box for letters of encouragement for the parents to write to their students. I didn't have any kind of major setup. I didn't do portfolios or anything like that. I am doing writing portfolios, but those are going home at the end of the year. So I just pulled things from around the room to show the parents, and that was just fine. So I don't think anything was necessarily hard. Again, it was just kind of the nerves at the beginning that got me. And the last question is from Sweet Angel XO. She said, how do you incorporate behavior problems and negative behavior without being too harsh? So again, as a teacher, it'll really help if you see problems as opportunities. If you have that mindset, you're going to be so much better off and the kids are going to be so much better off. I think what you're trying to say is how to put it nicely. And the way I did that, like I said, I don't have any major problems, but I do have some kids that need a little bit more self-control and things like that. So in my section at the bottom that says we can work together to ... I would write things like improve focus by doing puzzles or things like that. So I think it's kind of the way you see things. I think that putting a positive spin on things is definitely something you have to be good at as a teacher, because you can't tell a kid's parent, your child never listens in class. You need to be responsible as the teacher to give your student steps to success. So instead of saying your child never listens to me in class, you can set a goal and say, we can work together to help Maylene follow directions the first time X amount of times during the day. So you're still stating the problem, but you're putting it in a goal format, and that's something that's really, really worked for me. If it is something serious, you do just have to be honest with that parent. If, that child is, putting their hands on another child or things like that, that's something really serious. And hopefully at this point, the parent is already aware of those issues. They definitely should not pop up in conferences if you have a major issue. So like I said, my goal is to communicate with parents at least once a week. I hope they're hearing from me at least once a week, whether that's Dojo or Agenda. They're hearing from me about their child. So if their child is already having these issues, it's something they're already aware of and something they already know about. So at the conference, it's not going to be anything new. And I think that's really important too, is making sure that you're communicating with them before the conference, because the entire school year is just one big conference with the parent. That was kind of cheesy, but you get what I'm saying.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you want to reach me, you can always email me at calltheteacher@gmail.com. You can comment here or you can talk to me on Instagram. I'll see you guys in the next one.